Hello everybody, let's do another one of these update video thingies. I usually do these when I have some things to talk about that don't really fit into the LPs I'm doing, and I have a few topics that I'd like to mention and bring you up to speed on what's going on. So let's start with channel schedule. I really only have two projects going actively right now. So I have the Drod Perfection series and another one that's going to be starting later today that I'm enjoying a fair bit. If you liked Offspring Fling, you'll probably like this one. The Apple II series is a thing that I'm not counting as an active project right at the moment. Its status is kind of unknown. What happened with that is I didn't feel like I quite had time to do it justice. It was kind of a tricky one. It turns out that playing a new game every other day is kind of like starting a new LP every other day, which has a little bit more of a mental cost than just continuing something that's already going. So that was kind of dragging on me a little bit and making it more effort than other things that were going on. I got through most of the games that I really wanted to cover in that, and I kind of had my secondary list of games that were okay and maybe interesting to show, but were not a super high priority. I would still like to get to them. I haven't done any 2GS games yet, and I have a few of those on the list. Those are interesting. And several more Apple II games that I'd like to cover. So hopefully that'll come back at some point. But I'll call it inactive for the moment until I have the time and motivation to bring it back. So some other stuff that's been going on with me. I had kind of a weird last few weeks or so. Well, a little longer than that, I guess. So I mentioned a few updates ago that I had gotten another job and was spending some time on that. It was taking time away from other things I was doing. And that was going okay until a little more than a month ago when things got a little bit strange at it. So I do not have the full story yet, but it seems like the project that I was working on might have fallen apart. Maybe the company fell apart. Basically what happened was they placed me in on-call status a little more than a month ago, and pretty much that just meant I wouldn't log any hours and would wait for them to be ready for me to do more work for them. And then I just didn't hear anything for the longest time. So I'm kind of assuming that project is basically done. I've talked to people in the company just a little bit since then and have not been able to get much information out of them. So whatever's going on, they're not saying. So I'm not prying too hard. So basically, I'm assuming that job is pretty much over, and I'm looking for other opportunities right now. I have several pretty good leads, so I don't think it'll be a problem to find what I need to find. Anyway, so that whole situation was just stressing me out a bit and making it harder to keep up the 4 projects at a time schedule that I had before. So I put up a video saying that I would change one time slot to a wild card, and basically never put anything in that time slot. Then the Apple II series kind of tapered off a little bit. So I'm back down to 2. That's a much more comfortable, maintainable level. I did not think 2 videos per day, alternating days for projects, was going to be sustainable, and I guess I just reached the limits of what that was. So let's say for the moment that it's just going to be 2 projects, alternating days, and extra videos if I have the time or motivation. A lot of them I've just been putting in between games that I put in the main time slots. I actually missed a video the other day where I tried to record one. It just didn't work out because I was not in the right frame of mind. The game that I wanted to do was... it was kind of complicated. So, right, let's talk about this game. So, Undertale. Undertale is a lovely game that I'd been hearing a lot of stuff about since it came out a few months ago. And I'd been meaning to play it, had not gotten around to it until recently. I sort of thought quite a lot about whether I wanted to do an LP. it seems like pretty much everybody was doing them. That is a thing that I consider before starting an LP, and that kind of biases me away from doing something for a game like that. That wasn't the only reason I didn't do one for this game. I didn't know quite exactly what I was in for, so I decided to just experience it on my own. Now that I've done that, I wish I hadn't. No, not that I wish I hadn't played it. I wish I had actually done a blind LP on it. The video that I tried to record for 2 days ago was going to be a non-blind Undertale Let's Play, but I just could not really... I didn't feel like I had... One, I wasn't in the right frame of mind, and two, I just couldn't really commentate very well over it, knowing everything that was going to happen already. So I would suggest that everybody who's watching this play the game, because it's hard to describe why it's so noteworthy. The first time through the game, it might not even seem like anything super exceptional, but it just sort of keeps going after you've finished it once, and the story goes deeper and deeper, and there is a lot to it. It is a very worthwhile experience. And I wish I could Let's Play it, but apparently I missed my opportunity and can't really do it now that I know everything that's going on. So that's a shame, but that means that all of you, if you take my recommendation, can experience the game for yourselves, and that is something I would highly recommend. So other games. I still have a fairly lengthy backlog of potential LPs. It's the ones that are really good to do have been getting to be in slightly shorter supply. I'm still finding things to do. It's just a little bit harder to pick something off the list and say, yes, I am up for recording this today. This is going to be great. So supply is still steady. If I'm only doing 2 projects at a time and one of them is drawed, which people have recommended me a very large number of holds, so I think that can continue for the foreseeable future. But in terms of having another game to play, because I do still want to keep 2 things going at a time, I'm running just a little bit short, so hopefully new things will come out, or I'll find things on my list that are just as good, or I'll find other games that are worth playing. If any of you have any specific recommendations for things you'd like to see me play, please do let me know, because I always consider those. I'll add them to my list if the game looks like something interesting that I would be into. A few people over the last year or two have sent me some gift games. I have 3 of those now, and I really feel like I should do at least one video on each one of them. So just to reveal, one is FTL, one is In Verbis Virtus, and the other one is Shovel Knight. So at the very least, I'll probably do a single episode LP on each of those. I'll take a closer look at them and see if they're a thing I want to do as a full-blown series. I feel like FTL probably won't quite fit my style, but I don't know for sure. Maybe I'll try it and love it and be able to do a series on it. In Verbis Virtus, I don't know that much about it. It looked pretty cool from the trailer, so I'll try that and see where it goes. Shovel Knight, I feel, is in kind of a similar place as Undertale. A lot of people have done it, and that kind of discourages me from doing it, because I've said in the past, the games that I like to cover are things that either give the player a unique experience or are lesser-known things that I'd like to shine a spotlight on. But again, I would have loved to have done Undertale. That gave me more of a unique experience than I expected it to. So that would have been just fine. So maybe Shovel Knight's in the same camp, and I just don't know it yet. We'll see. So if you have any other recommendations, please do let me know. Anyway, that's all the stuff I had to talk about, so I'll see you in another one of these sometime.